Okay, let's watch this. I think sound should be good, so let's see what's going on here. All right.
Спасибо, что пояснил. Хотел поговорить про актуалочку, про, ну, как бы, наверное, актуальное за последние несколько лет, ну, последний год, наверное, самая обсуждаемая тема в шахматах – это читерство. Я сейчас поеду на турнир в Уральске, там играет Ханс Ниман, номер 1 рейтинг-листа. Надеюсь, что с ним тоже сделаем подкаст. Вот. Кстати, ты говорил про Шманова, мы с ним тоже договорились, так что, друзья, подписывайтесь на канал, не пропустите. Вот. Что думаешь вообще про риски читерства? Я знаю, что ты много про это высказывался, отказывался от участия в каких-то онлайн-турнирах из-за этого, из-за опасения того, что это может повлиять. Насколько это, ну, потому что многие говорят, ну, блин, там сейчас же есть алгоритмы, но они вроде как бы выявляют читерство, там, у Ческома. Насколько ты вообще считаешь, что игра в опасности от этого?
Okay, this is actually
на
interesting.
30%. Ну, то есть игра в онлайне, мне кажется, она не то, что в опасности.
Whoa, wait a second, wait.
Этого всего.
What did you just say? Okay, first things first. I wish this wasn't, I wish there was somebody I could take this off because the subtitles are slightly covered by this bar, but I can't. First things first, it's very clear that when Dubov says 300%, he is very clearly saying, and I mean, maybe he gets to this anyway, but he's in no uncertain terms. He's basically saying that there's no way to capture cheat. I can't move the subtitles because it's just on the video itself. So he's basically saying that there's no way to catch it. That's what he's saying. 300% just means like it's happening. That's that. There's no way of stopping it, I think. But let's see if he actually says that.
На 30%. Ну, то есть игра в онлайне, мне кажется, она не то, что в опасности, она просто ее как бы нет. То есть это игра на честном слове.
То есть алгоритмы не работают?
Да нет, конечно. Ну, а как они могут... Нет, ну, то есть они работают только в плане поиска идиотов.
Okay, this is also very important. So what Dubov is, this is Dubov, Danil Dubov from Russia. He's living in, I believe, Kazakhstan, which is why, of course, as you can tell from this is actually kind of nice, this little thing they have here on the table. It says Astana Podcast Studio. So this was recorded in Astana, of course, which is in Kazakhstan. So Dubov left Russia and went to Kazakhstan. So where was I? So basically what he's saying here, he's saying that the algorithms catch people, but only if it's literally only if like a 1000 level player cheats on every single move. That's what he's saying here.
Они работают, да, если ты условно посадишь там своего кота играть последней версии лучшей шахматной программы, вероятно, они его поймают. А если даже ты сам начнешь играть... Ну, для понимания, компьютер играет лучше человека там года с 2000, там, какого, я не знаю, 5-го, условно будем считать, там, наверное, чуть раньше. То есть ты можешь взять лучшую программу 2007 года. Там, ну, я тебе гарантирую, что она обыграет людей, но при том никакого отношения как бы к современной она иметь не будет.
This is very true too. Also, what is it based on? What is he saying this? So here's the problem, and let's just get right to the heart of it. The problem with not with what he's saying, but the problem with online chess is like, so for example, a chess program, like if you use the latest version of Stockfish, obviously you see the best moves, and if someone uses the latest version, then yes, you obviously can see like they're playing the exact best moves, but someone could go back. For example, I think it was in the year 2003 or 4, I forget which year exactly it was, but there was a match between Michael Adams, who was a very high ranked chess player, and I believe there was this engine called Hydra, of course straight out of Marvel, that they created. And when Michael Adams played Hydra, which wasn't even, I think, the absolute best program at the time, he got smoked. I think it was like 5.5 or maybe even 6-0. But the thing is, computers even back then were so good. So like even now, if someone were to go get like the old version of Stockfish, like I don't know, like Stockfish 3, or I mean, I don't even know how far back it goes. Or for example, if you were to get it was 5.5, okay. Or, you know, for example, you have like Deep Junior or Deep Fritz or all these programs that actually, when I was growing up, were very strong. Then it would be very hard to catch it. Now, that being said, I do think that Dubov is also underestimated, because I'm pretty confident that Chess.com does it. I'm sure that Chess.com actually does compare versus other engines. I do believe that for sure. If they don't, then yeah, that's a huge problem. Anyway, let's keep going.
То есть у них там разница в рейтинге, надо понимать, что программа лучшая условно в 2008 году, и программа нынешняя сейчас, у них там разница в рейтинге будет где-то примерно 500-600 пунктов. Это, для понимания, разница между там слабым кандидатом в мастера и сильным гроссмейстером. То есть это небо и земля, они не могут это поймать. Ну и главная проблема, что тут есть такой момент, что не обязательно же это делать все время. Меня просто вот это пугает.
Только несколько раз, если ты сильный игрок.
Да-да-да, то есть мне кажется...
Yes, and this is also, of course, very important too. This part that Duo was talking about, which I think Magnus said this, I've said this, I think Magnus and I both said it when we were on podcast with Lex Fridman, where basically all we need is there, and you'll probably notice this actually when I play Title Tuesday or other events. There are many moments where I'm like, I can feel like something's off. I don't know what's off in the position, but I can feel like there's something off. And more often than not, I feel probably 90% or more. I'm actually right. There is something off, and I can feel, I can just sort of sense it. But again, I don't know what it is, but if I knew what it was, it would make it so easy. I just win every game, because there are like one or two moments where you have that natural feeling. You can just you can sense that there's something off, but of course, the spidey sense is exactly. So this is a big problem. It's true. It is a big problem. This is true.
Сильный шахматист, условно, если тебе один раз за партию, ход даже не надо. То есть мне вот, если будут один раз за партию вот так говорить, что вот сейчас лампочка, ты выигрываешь. Что вот сейчас...
Только оценка.
Ну, даже не надо оценку, просто, что вот сейчас думай, вот скажите. Что вот сейчас думай, вот сейчас есть решение. Это колоссальная фора. То есть, конечно, я думаю, я Магнуса обыграю с такой форой довольно легко. Что если всегда вот в момент как бы какого-то вот скачка мне будут говорить, это огромная фора.
Yes, also true.
Или ты можешь просто, ну, там, одну партию...
He's saying exactly what I'm saying. It's like when I can sense in some of these Title 2 things, like I can sense that there's like, there's something wrong, but I don't know what it is. But like, if I knew what it was, I would win the game. Even if I didn't know what the move itself was, but I knew it's like +2 or something, I would figure it out. I would figure it out. And it is correct, because there are like, I would say in top level games, there generally are like 2 to 3 very, very critical moments in general. There are 2 to 3 very, very critical moments. I'm trying to think if there's an example from today's Magnus game against Vincent that would apply to the situation where Vincent knew that a move wasn't the best move. He might survive. I'm not sure if there was in today's game, but it's something that is very, very applicable.
Из 4 тоже ты спокойно выигрываешь, остальные сам играешь. То есть это как бы... Ну, я не знаю, мне кажется, это держится на честном форе.
Actually, no, I'll give you a perfect example. Let me pull up a game. I'll give you guys the perfect example from yesterday's game. There's a perfect example. Let me find the European Club Cup. Let me find Magnus' game from yesterday. It's a perfect example. So if I pull up game number 4, let me pull this up for just for a second, you guys. Let me refresh this. Yeah, so I'm gonna pull up this game very, very quickly and just change the scene. Let me turn off the flag. Of course, everyone goes insane. But there was a critical moment right around here. This is a moment where the computer says that after knight takes f4, black is slightly better. Now, if Alexei Serrano could consult Stockfish here or any program, it would tell you in a split second that knight takes, even if you don't know the move, but you know that the evaluation, even if this is a weak engine, says minus 0.51, immediately you would find knight takes f4. And if you play knight takes f4, that alone is enough to change the game. And if anything, there's zero chance that Serrano would lose this game. Zero chance. In fact, he'd most likely win, but at worst case, it would be a draw. And so it's a perfect example of like one move, just this one move. Even though there were other moves that were maybe mistakes or things, this one move changes the course of the game. Additionally, like here, I'll set, I think there was one moment somewhere around here. Yeah, somewhere around here. Was it this position? There was one more moment. Yeah. Like right around here, if you know that if you knew that the evaluation is 0.00, for example, you would play rook g2 and not rook h3, because 0.0 is very clear that indicating there's some kind of repetition or a forced draw, and there are a lot of pieces still on the board. So you would go rook g2, not rook h3, because after rook h3, rook d3, even if you check and king b2 is played, there's no instant way to force a draw. So these are just 2 examples from the game yesterday where either one would have changed the result. 100% would have changed the result. So, all right, back to the video. Let's change the scene again, and here we go.
То, что они работают, это же, ну, это не работает в другую сторону, да, это, как говорят, что все тайное становится явным, да, но ты не можешь это доказать, потому что когда тайное остается тайным, ты не знаешь. Да, то есть это примерно то же самое. То есть я не понимаю, ну вы кого-то поймали, но это там абсолютно очевидно, что это люди, которые делали это супер глупо.
Ну, какие-то есть решения?
Нет, ну в онлайне-то, мне кажется, какие могут быть решения? В онлайне я вообще не понимаю.
Чтоб человек приходил, смотрел.
Ну, разве что так, да, но это...
Или камера 360 градусов, чтобы в комнате была.
Не, ну там камера 360 градусов, все равно ты как бы легко решишь проблему.
Микронаушник?
Слушай, ну я не знаю, ну там в этих турнирах там первый приз $30-50 тысяч. Слушай, ну там инвестируем 4, да? там 1000 способов у тебя.
Now this I'm gonna be honest about. I mean, of course, obviously there's translations, but I don't actually agree with Dubov here. I think he's wrong. Again, translations could be wrong. So like just to be clear, like I'm basing it off of what the translations are, but I think he's wrong on this actually. I think it's a huge problem, as I've said multiple times with Title Tuesday. You have players who are not on cam, you have players who are like FMs or like 2100s, all sorts of players. All sorts of players who are who there's like no monitoring whatsoever. But I think as far as like the top level tournaments, I've said it before and I'll stand behind what I've said. I don't think there's any chance of people cheating. The fact that you have cameras showing both monitors, the fact like you have a camera here, you have a camera there, some cases you even have a camera on the side as well. I mean, I don't really agree with him here. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but I think it would be way too obvious. I think considering all of us have played thousands of games now online in these, maybe not thousands, but hundreds at least in these very serious events, there is screen share as well. I think the notion of it happening, I mean, I'm not saying it can't happen, but I think it's the two things that Dubov is sort of confusing. The first one is that with these terms of 30, 50,000, you're talking about the absolute top players in the world, talking about players who, if they get caught cheating, they will be banned for X amount of years, they will lose their career overnight, and so it's not going to happen. Title Tuesday is a different story, because when you look at the players who are lower rated, for them, if they get caught, first of all, it's probably not going to ever be made public, and secondly, they can just go create a new account, or they can go back to the regular job, whatever it is. They have no future of earning money in chess. So if they get caught, it doesn't change their life. But in chess, if you're a top player and you get caught, you're going to get banned. It's just that simple, and you're going to lose your career. So I think that's the one of the things that he's kind of missing here when he talks about it broadly. I do think, however, I mean, it is true that there are things like earbuds, for example, or tiny micropiece or whatever that do exist. It's also, I think now it's become a very big issue in over the board play, because you do have, even when players go to play, there are scanning devices for that specifically. Get banned or you will sue someone for $100 million. Thank you, Dracos. Appreciate it. Let's keep going.
Я не знаю, какая-нибудь
He's probably suggesting that video transmissions can be altered in real time. I mean, maybe there's some way theoretically to do it, but the fact that you're gonna have to like, you're basically saying it's like when you watch the movie, right? It's like when you watch the movie and there's a bank heist, right? Where someone goes into the bank, they go into the vault or something, and then the camera that they see in the security room is different, right? I mean, I assume that's what you're saying. It's like when you watch the Hollywood movie and they go break into the vault, and then you see the security guy just munching, and there's a screen there, and like it's showing something different than what's happening. I mean, I guess that's what you're saying, but like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's theoretically possible, but I just don't really buy it. Is what I would say. I don't buy the tricking the camera thing. I do think like earpieces is a very, very serious thing. I do think that it is possible. Also, like you can have Morse code or things like that as well.
Азбука Морзе там в ботинок, там еще что-нибудь. Ну, я не знаю, ну придумаешь, да? Абсолютно очевидно, что придумаешь. То есть это не трудно. Я думаю, можно обратиться к людям, которые вот помогают сдавать экзамены, да?
Или не только в ботинок.
Ну вот именно, да, это к нему, ну, как раз можно вернуться. Но это, я думаю, как раз экстремальная теория, потому что можно проще намного.
Ну, понятно, что это мем, вряд ли он.
Не, ну вживую это может быть, я не знаю, вживую может быть как бы сложнее как-то еще, а просто в онлайне можно 1000 способов придумать. То есть это понятно, что вообще как бы не проблема.
А ты думаешь, что насчет Нимана, кстати?
Я думаю, если я скажу, что думаю, у меня будет проблема, да, как сказал классик.
Осторожно.
Да. Нет, ну опять, я думаю, что вероятность этого, я не говорю, что я могу доказать, я просто говорю, ну, что у него темпы развития, но вероятность этого такая же, как что человек там с пузиком там в... Вероятно, скажу, что не проблема.
А ты думаешь, что насчет Нимана, кстати?
Я думаю, если я скажу, что думаю, у меня будет проблема, да, как сказал классик.
Осторожно.
Да. Нет, ну опять, я думаю, что вероятность этого, я не говорю, что я могу доказать, я просто говорю, ну, что у него темпы развития, но вероятность этого такая же, как что человек там с пузиком там в, я не знаю, 35 лет, типа начинает якобы просто заниматься бегом, и за год он как бы выбегает из 10 секунд. Нет, это теоретически, наверное, я не могу доказать, что это невозможно.
Ну, крайне редко. То, что у него поздний такой спорт начался.
Да. Ну и при том, там как все это происходит, и там его статистика в турнирах, где ему отключали трансляцию.
This is where I pause the video and I say that the words speak for themselves, right? The words speak for themselves. Everyone can very clearly tell what he's saying between the lines, very, very clearly. And people still think Hikaru makes stuff up. Exactly, you guys.
Не отключали, но все это вызывает вопрос. Плюс у него какая-то немножко странная логика, да, он говорит там, да, я читерил там, но только 2 раза, то есть, да.
Ну, он маленький был тогда, как бы.
Ну, как маленький, ну, сколько лет, 16 было? 17. Не знаю, честно говоря, мне не очень интересно. Просто я задумался недавно еще об этом, что, понимаешь, проблема не в Нимане. То есть раньше эта проблема была... Все как-то уверенно сходились в том, что этих людей немного, и речь шла о персоналиях. Да, и там, ну, условно, не секрет, что подозревали Топалова. Да,
Also
там
true.
Филлера поймали на Олимпиаде.
Yeah,
То
so
есть, ну,
anyone who wants the context of this, by the way, because this is actually very important too, what he's saying, is that Topalov was, I believe Topalov was accused of cheating, I think in the tournament in not San Sebastian, sorry, in San Luis in Argentina. It was the nice pause. Okay, that's not the point. But I think it's San Luis when Topalov won the Canada's tournament. There were some Russians who thought he was playing at the same board or something. I mean, it's so long ago now that I don't actually remember the details. But basically, they were saying that there were definitely people were saying that he was cheating. So this is not something new.
были какие-то случаи, когда были вопросы. Но речь шла о персоналиях. А сейчас, ты понимаешь, просто, ну, мне кажется, мы уже достигли стадии, когда мне-то уже все равно про Нимана. Мне скорее вопрос, их вообще сколько, условно, в топ-100. Я просто понимаю, то есть раньше всегда было понятно, их там, условно, от 0 до 3 там.
А сейчас?
А сейчас я вот не знаю, мне просто порядок трудно оценить, меня вот это пугает. То есть количество людей, которые читерят в онлайне, из там топ-100, топ-200, мне реально трудно оценить порядок. Мне уже не интересно про Нимана. Мне просто интересно их условно 2 или условно 15.
А ты склоняешься к чему?
А я не знаю просто. Мне кажется, просто Ческом...
Yeah, I mean, I agree with him here. I mean, this is actually very true that yeah, nobody knows. Nobody knows what that, well, I mean, chess.com obviously knows, but otherwise nobody actually knows what the reality is. And I think he's right. Like, you don't know. It could be 2, it could be 15. I mean, what I would say if I'm going to give the hot take is that I'm betting that if you look at the top 200 as opposed to top 100, the number is probably a lot higher. Just guessing. I'm betting it's pretty high if you look at the top 200.
Сделал очень плохую вообще вещь, как бы, когда у них там эта политика второго шанса.
Когда ты читеришь и тебе раззванивают?
Да, то есть они сделали, но это тоже зрителям надо объяснить, наверное, да, они сделали такую странную штуку, что у них есть этот алгоритм, который типа кого-то ловит. И они сделали так, что если алгоритм считает, что ты читер, значит, они пишут тебе письмо и говорят, вот мы тебя поймали, значит, мы поняли, что ты читер, и, значит, ты давай признавайся, и что если ты признаешься, мы, типа, забыли на первый раз, но больше так не делай.
Это странно.
А если ты не признаешься, то мы тебя баним, типа, открыто. Но это на самом деле, мне кажется, это очень слабо. Это как раз показывает, что они сами не уверены в этом. Потому что, если ты знаешь, что человек читер, зачем? То есть, ну, непонятно, там, признается, не признает, какие эти разницы-то. Но это на самом деле...
Okay, so here we go. This is also pretty good. Actually, what Dubov is saying here is, I think actually, I don't think... You know, I actually have a different take for what Dubov's saying here. I think what Dubov is saying is he's saying that like chess.com has a second chance policy so that people get caught, they can come back. I think it's the opposite. I think it's because chess.com tries to basically say it's like one strike, you're not out. I think that's what it is. I think it's like one strike and you're not out. I don't think it's that they think that it's weak. I think they think that it's like, if it's one strike and you're out, that's an unfair punishment. Like that's what I think it's about. I don't think so. But let's keep going.
Они же сами понимают. Я им в какой-то момент предложил, мне тут было интересно, что я им предложил, типа, ну, как бы неофициально, я говорю, ребят, ну, типа, я говорю, если вы правда верите в свои алгоритмы, я говорю, давайте, пожалуйста, что я просто делаю стрим, я буду показывать, как я читерю, просто, и вы честно покажете, что говорят ваши алгоритмы. Я говорю, конечно, они никогда меня не поймают. Но они сказали, что им это неинтересно. Ну, конечно, неинтересно.
Блин, кстати, крутая идея.
Нет, это крутая идея.
Actually, he's right on this, though. This is actually serious, like what he's saying here. And I think he's right on this, by the way, which is that the problem is, like, if he were to do that, it's lose-lose. Because if they do catch him, like, say he does it, and they catch him cheating, like, that's the expected result. But if he's able to do it and not get caught, the integrity of online chess dies overnight. It just dies. No one's gonna believe that they can catch cheaters if he could do it and get away with it. So of course they're not going to say yes to it because if what they hope happens, yeah, that's great. But if he's able to do it and get away with it, then it's just like game over. Period. Online chess is gone. It's a very serious threat. Very, very serious threat.
Ну, это просто абсолютно очевидно, чем это закончится. Я тебе говорю, что как бы интриги нет никакой.
То есть пока, ну, единственный способ это чтобы стоял надсмотрщик. И то там тоже, ну,
Не, ну
наверное,
насмотрщик это более-менее надежно, да. То есть это вот есть же такие турниры ФИДа проходят, да, вот
True.
так они делают. Какой-то гибридный отбор был к чемпионату Европы, онлайн-олимпиаду мы играли.
то есть тоже там металлодетектором тебя...
Ну, там и металлодетекторы, главное, ты просто играешь из какого-то, то есть они присылают, как правило, из ФИДа какого-то человека, не имеющего никакого отношения к твоему, там, будь то Белград, Москва, Иерусалим, там, любой город, просто приезжает человек и смотрит, как вы там сидите и что-то делаете. То есть это более-менее разумно, мне кажется. Но проблема в том, что тогда ты ни один массовый турнир ты не можешь провести. Ну, практически. То есть ты не можешь, у тебя тогда будут люди, которые... Ну, у тебя будет как бы дискриминация по географическому признаку, да?
Ну да, и Title Tuesday какой-нибудь.
Да, то есть у тебя
не
какие-нибудь
сможешь.
люди там откуда-нибудь из Новой Зеландии, грубо говоря, не смогут играть, да, потому что к ним никто не поедет. То есть это просто финансово не бьется. Ну, так можно проводить, вот Кубок мира так можно было бы провести, допустим. Там не так много людей и, условно, большие инвестиции, так и так. А вот какой-нибудь Уральск твой... Вот...
But yeah, here you go, you guys. Dubov flaming New Zealand. So for everybody who's watching from New Zealand, I mean, I hate to break it to you, but at least as far as the chess world goes, you guys just aren't important enough, unfortunately.
Этот, ну, как бы, как это сделать? У них нет денег, чтобы там...
Так, а это уже мы про оффлайн начинаем говорить, да?
Да, да.
То есть ты считаешь,
Нет,
что
ну
там
я-
недостаточные меры будут, что сканируют, забирают телефоны там и так далее?
Где, в Уральске? Нет, ну, меры я не знаю, какие там, я же там не играл.
Я
Нет,
думаю,
ну,
как везде.
ну, слушай, ну, везде это тоже выглядит...
Металлодетектор.
Везде, если честно, они, как правило, они бывают навороченными, но, если честно, они практически всегда идиотские. Именно вот на уровне смысла. То есть там часто бывает, что... Ну, я не знаю, там стоит вот этот чувак со сканером, да, который, ну, ты типа можешь мимо него пройти, знаешь, ты можешь вот подойти к нему, а можешь вот так вот, ну, как бы вот отойти на 3 метра вправо и там зайти в зал, и там его нет. Ну, типа вот так бывает по степени абсурда. То есть нет, я ничего
Ну
не
вот
говорю...
я был в ОКТБ, там было надежно. Нужно отдать должное организатору.
Нет, ну супер, да, то есть...
I mean, this sounds a little bit paranoid. I'm gonna be honest. Like this is starting to sound a little bit insane. I'm gonna be honest. Like it's like basically he's saying like there's one security guard and you just make sure you're like just away from him and you sneak in with a group of 4 or something and he's not gonna see. Like there are 4 people around you or something. You sneak in. Like I mean, this seems a little bit hard to do.
Я даю должное ФИДу, что в принципе они проблему понимают. Это, то есть, при как раз вот при команде Дворковича они стали много делать, и молодцы, мне кажется. Но просто иногда все равно есть человеческий фактор, они не могут на это повлиять. Они могут раздать сканеры там, условно, людям, организаторам, они могут все им там объяснить, как делать, но ты все равно не можешь повлиять на то, что просто чувак будет стоять там, я не знаю, бабочек считать, пока кто-то заходит. Или, например, там, ну, я не знаю, бывает, что там общий туалет со зрителями. То есть бывает, да, ты заходишь в зал, у тебя сканер, а потом туалет, тебе надо выйти из зала и там куда-нибудь метров 150, знаешь, там по дороге там можно калашников у кого-нибудь забрать, там не то, что ход услышать. То есть это, как правило, ну, все равно немножко на частном условии.
What did he just say? Wait, what?
Там общий туалет со зрителями. То есть бывает, да, ты заходишь в зал, у тебя сканер, а потом туалет, тебе надо выйти из зала и там куда-нибудь метров 150, знаешь, там по дороге там можно калашников у кого-нибудь забрать, там не то, что ход услышать. То есть это, как правило, ну...
Oh my god. I mean, I'm just gonna say, I think Dubov's been watching too much of The Godfather or something. Like, wasn't it The Godfather where there's like a gun in the toilet? I think isn't it where Michael gets him and goes to the toilet and gets a gun? I mean, this is a little bit far. I'm gonna be honest, this is a little bit out there, like a little bit out there.
Ну, все равно немножко на частном условии. Вот, я просто за оффлайн я более-менее спокоен, потому что, мне кажется, математически это сравнительно невыгодно большинству людей.
Читерить?
Да, ну, я понимаю...
Не такие большие призовые?
Ну, да, то есть я, если честно, я в этом плане, я как бы, ну, человек, который смотрит на жизнь, наверное, больше через цифры. Да, то есть мне вот это, что... Это, ну, мне всегда казалось самый дебильный аргумент, что вот, элита, они никогда не будут читерить, они же не такие, там, они же все там... Джентльмены, образцы морали, там вот это, да, они там, да, репутация, да все. То есть это, мне кажется, полный бред. То есть, ну, что он, или там вот это вот классика, да он отличный парень, там, я его знаю 20 лет, там, да не... Не, ну, как бы, ребят, у каждого человека есть там другой, который знает его 20 лет и скажет, что он отличный парень. То есть это уже абсурд. Просто для элиты...
This is very true. Anytime someone gets accused of cheating, this also happens. There's always someone who's like, I've known this guy for 30 years, it's not possible. This is actually very true. But you don't know with certainty. This is a very good point from Dubov as well. Very, very, very true.
Вживую это действительно безумие. уровне, потому что, ну, в каком бы турнире ты ни читерил, ну, даже если мы доведем до вот уровня абсурда, что читерство в матче на первенство мира, ну, допустим, ты выигрываешь этот матч, там, ты выигрываешь еще один, тебя условно ловят на 3-й раз, ну, ты заработаешь миллионов $5, там 6, и тебя забанят. Это ты как бы все равно это финансово хуже, то есть ты больше, понятно, что не заработаешь в шахматах прям ничего.
Exactly.
Для людей из топ-10 это финансово невыгодно, сравнительно с тем, что они бы каждый год играли сами и зарабатывали свои мат-ожидания.
Через мат-ожидания считаешь?
Нет,
Классно.
да,
No, but he's absolutely right on this part. He's absolutely right on this part too. But the weird thing to me is he's not talking about this online, because online's the exact same thing. Pre-watched. What do you mean pre-watch? I haven't watched this. What are you talking about? But he's absolutely right, because like when he's talking about it for top players, it doesn't make sense.
Но это реально так и есть, я про это говорю. Поэтому вживую понятно, что это просто невыгодно как бы никому, кроме людей, которые играют плохо.
Oh, you're saying that I said this earlier in the video. Oh, okay. Sorry. I understand what you're saying. You're saying that basically I've made this point earlier in the video. That is correct, because this is actually how I look at this the exact same way that he looks at it, which is basically that in essence, for the top players, it makes no sense. It makes no sense to try and do this from any perspective. Because like, if you think about a chess player, let's just say, I don't know who's an up-and-comer. Let's just use Vincent Keimer as an example, because he's a junior player who's a long career ahead of him. If you look at Vincent or Prague or whatever junior I want to use as an example, they are they have at least, let's just be conservative, they've probably got at least like 5 good years to earn a good living from chess. So if they have 5 years of potential earnings down the road, at least, I mean, obviously I'm trying to be like really conservative there, like why would you ever even try to cheat? Because if you get caught, you have no future earnings at all. It goes from like, I don't know what, however many 6 figures it is, to $0.
То есть это выгодно как раз людям, таких ловили.
Exactly.
Это выгодно на самом деле среднему гроссмейстеру, который зарабатывает совсем мало, и он может 3 года играть в опенах компом.
Ну, Раусис, да, вот этот Раусис.
Ну, Раусис как раз ничего не заработал, но там был этот... какой-то грузин там был загадочный. Вот он как раз, да, я понимаю.
Oh no, this is the guy that he's talking about, the guy that I played in Title Tuesday 2 days ago. He's talking about Gaia-Lidze or something. He's talking about the guy that I played 2 days ago in Title Tuesday. I didn't realize. Oh no.
520 он поехал, выиграл там 5-6 опенов. Даже его поймали, ну и что, но он заработал там, наверное, 1150. То есть сколько бы он их зарабатывал так, но он чем-то еще займется.
Нахаслил.
He did find something else to do. He decided to play in Title Tuesday. That's what he's doing.
Да. Поэтому за офлайн я, честно говоря, мало волнуюсь, по крайней мере, на высоком уровне именно. А за онлайн я тоже мало волнуюсь, потому что, ну, мне кажется, просто на честном слове мы играем. Не знаю, я в этом плане я гораздо меньше переживаю, играя онлайн с Магнусом. То есть он-то, я понимаю, что сам играет, его можно обыграть. А есть люди, которых как будто нельзя, поэтому...
Интересно. Ты на канале Книжный чел?
Yeah.
Не могу не...
So anyway, yeah, this is that ends. I will remind people though, one thing you do have to take with a grain of salt, because I think I've said this before. One second. I think I've said this before, but just to be clear, like even though a lot of what Dubov says is right, he also can get paranoid and lose his mind. And I think I've said it before. I think I've said it on stream like once or twice, but Dubov actually accused me of cheating a while back as well during one of the Chess Champion Tour events. It was a tour final back in 2020 in the semifinals. So he actually accused me of cheating. I mean, he didn't make some big public statement about it, but I heard about it because he went to some people and like he went to FIDE and did some stuff in Russian circles. So like even though I agree with a lot of what he's saying, even he, as rationally as it sounds, can become paranoid and be off topic or not off topic. He can be off the point. So that is the final little bit. I don't think there's anything more here because more on this topic. Let's see. Yeah, because they're gonna move on to books. So I think that's it. Yeah. Did he apologize? No, he didn't. But honestly, like I mean, you know, the other thing, how do I say this in a way without like implying something? Let me say something. I think people understand what I'm saying. It's not necessarily implying anything, but like when Dubov says this about me, do you guys see me getting super angry? I'm like, oh man, I hate this guy. He's the worst guy in the world. He personally insulted me. I got to go after him. Do you see me doing that? No, I'm laughing it off because of how absurd it is. So keep that in mind when you hear about people getting accused of cheating or things along these lines and how they react to it. Keep that in mind for the future, you guys, or based on past examples of things happening. Just keep that in mind, okay? Like you see me, I'm just like I don't care. It's so absurd, so stupid. I'm not gonna make some big deal about it. It's a yeah, actually that's the other thing is that generally if someone accuses you of cheating, that's actually a compliment. It really is a compliment, honestly. It's like, wow, I played that well. You think I played that well? it's pretty funny. So I'm certain he doesn't think that anymore, but at any rate, I think you guys get the point of what I'm saying, and I'm just gonna leave it there for now. So all right, anyway, you guys, that is what we're covering. Now let's move on to another topic. There's one other thing I want to cover. 1 second. So let's move on. We have something else to cover. We have an article. Let's cover this as well. Right. All right, we have this article from the other day. Here we go. Neiman's interview with Piers Morgan was his biggest blunder in recent memory. Written by Lucy Kellerman. Here we go. What happens when a young chess prodigy is accused of cheating after the biggest win of his career, and it turns out there was reason to suspect him? In Hans Niemann's case, it led to lawsuits, an admission of online oopsies, a chess.com report alleging 100 more instances of foul play, and the continued presence of a toxic cloud lingering over his head wherever he goes. Okay. Now comes an interview with Piers Morgan, an odd attempt at image rehabilitation, which turned out to be, in chess terms, a massive blunder. How could anyone expect him to come out looking good from that hot mess shrinking under the hostile glare of the interviewer with a lawyer sitting by his side? Okay, let's get something out of the way. Hans Niemann, the embattled and embittered young grandmaster, embittered, that's that's probably a generous way of putting it. It's pretty damn good at chess. Only 90 players in the world have an ELO above 2650 at the time of writing, and a fair few are from an older generation who no longer compete actively in the circuit. No allegations of over-the-board cheating have been proven, and while his credibility is clearly in question, his baseline chess abilities are far above those of anyone reading this article, except for me, even if it does turn out that he found a way to cheat offline in big competitions. Okay. The whole saga began a year ago when Niemann was drafted as a last-minute replacement to round out the field of the Singfield Cup, a prestigious invitational-only event featuring the cream of the chess elite. He set off to a storming start and shocked the world by ending world number 1 Magnus Carlsen's 53-game unbeaten streak, defeating him with the black pieces. The next day, the Norwegian withdrew from the tournament, insinuating that he suspected foul play, later explaining he believes that Niemann cheated more and more recently than he has publicly admitted. Okay. Let's keep going. Later, a chess.com report found via statistical analysis that Hans Niemann likely cheated in over 100 games online, including prize money events and Title Tuesday, and also referenced private correspondences between Niemann and chess.com bigwig Danny Wrench, where the young American admitted to cheating. Publicly, he only admitted to 2 occasions, one at the age of 12 and one at 16, maintaining that he never cheated in over-the-board events. Chess skills are one thing, social skills and media savvy are another. Niemann sued Carlsen, Nakamura, and various entities related to chess.com, looking for $100 million in damages for defamation. Legal commentators immediately made it clear the filing was very unlikely to succeed, and soon it was dismissed without prejudice, though the parties' continued silence on the details suggests that some sort of agreement was reached along the way. All right. Whether Niemann legitimately beat Carlsen at the Singfield Cup remains unclear, as you cannot prove a negative. What is clear is that Niemann is terrible at PR. Not that you can really fault a young, abrasive man who spent most of his adolescence studying the intricacies of a challenging board game, but someone somewhere really should have told him that the hot seat of Piers Morgan, a man involved in multiple ethical quandaries, including phone hacking allegations, racist and insensitive terms like something milk, and calling Meghan Markle the Pinocchio something, is not the place to go for a nuanced discussion of chess controversies. Okay, in chess we refer to blunders, terrible, inexplicable, game-losing moves with a double question mark in the notation. Think, whoops, there goes my queen. OMG, I didn't realize that was checkmate. Wow, I'm so stupid, I should never play chess again. When Hans Niemann brought his lawyer along for a friendly chat with one of Britain's hoariest and most controversial interviewers for the September 26th edition of his YouTube show, Piers Morgan Uncensored. The sheer scale of his error was clear as soon as the discussion began. Okay. First question, why have you got your lawyer with you? Piers Morgan Uncensored, more like Piers Morgan Unleashed. Now, the Briton clearly came into this interview with only a surface level of understanding of the elite chess world and immediately honed in on the whole anal beads thing, a squeaky allegation that began as a Twitch chat comment and metastasized into a question on international news broadcast. Now, I've said it before, you know, one thing also, speaking about the general topic as a whole, is that topic of anal beads became the big thing specifically because of something that was said in the Chess Bros chat and ended up being not retweeted, but there was some kind of tweet by Elon Musk about it. And as I recall, I don't recall seeing the Chess Bros being in the lawsuit. So I think that alone in and of itself says a lot about Hans and his motives. Let's keep going. He had little knowledge about the means with which someone could cheat at online chess, nor the implication of some of Neiman's odder statements about the sport. However, he immediately recognized a fellow BS artist at work and kept going for the jugular. Given you have admitted to cheating, is it completely outrageous that people may have thought you continued cheating? Oof. As the hostile questions kept piling on, including an uncomfortable discussion about cavity searches, Neiman's lawyer, a friend per the player's way of framing, put his hand on his knee and went on to answer a tougher question for him. Here he gave a decent version of the story they wanted to spin, that Carlsen used his industry connections and fear of rising talent to bully him out of top-level chess events, and while he did make mistakes as a kid, he never cheated in serious games. Calling online chess games and prize money events meaningless is a statement that will fly much worse in the chess world than the general public, but there is a grain of truth to the notion that the supremacy of over-the-board chess has only really been challenged in the past couple of years. That is fair. But yes, anyway, this is a good point. Very, very good. I mean, anytime I see this, it just makes me shake my head. As you guys know, it makes me shake my head. Because I won't pull up the clips, but I've seen when Magnus lost to Andrei Yesipenko. You've seen him lose to Prague. Magnus's reactions when losing to those guys has been quite different, shall we say. So questionable at best. All right. It was the exact same angle that fell flat in federal court, and it worked no better on a controversial old man's YouTube show. Now, clearly no youngster should be subjected to Piers Morgan on either side of the television screen, and the broadcast should come with a warning label saying may contain venom. Yet Neiman made it hard to sympathize with him, which is impressive considering who he's been interviewed by. Why was this medium, and what the heck was the message? A chat like this is a carefully arranged affair. Both parties aim to get something out of it. The subject wants to project a specific message or viewpoint to the masses, while the interviewer wants to inject himself into the conversation and farms a lot of eyeballs. As the old saying goes, news is something somebody doesn't want printed. All else is advertising. Soon he or his team reposted a long excerpt of the interview to his YouTube channel with the title, "Piers Morgan tried to frame me. Dude, please." Make no mistake, this was meant to be a carefully curated ad for HN 2.0, the atoning youngster who's been bullied by the mean world champion and his elitist buddies. The chess prodigy with a new charitable contribution is looking to rehabilitate his image. Instead, what we got was the equivalent of a hoary one-star Yelp review written by a stocky British geezer and some meme-worthy oddities from Neiman and his suited-up buddy. Now we're left pondering the question, what are you supposed to do when your lawyer friend awkwardly puts his hand on your lap? A blunder indeed. Wow, what an article. This is a great article. This is pretty funny, actually. Is it a guy or no, is it her? It's a guy, right? Never mind. So I just looked at the picture. I thought Lucy, because it's an I, would be but I think anyway, it's a good article. It's the person who wrote this has a way with words for sure. So anyway, pretty funny article. Yeah, pretty funny stuff. So yeah, that's a good article. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love the unbiased hate. I mean, Piers Morgan was kind of likable. I mean, the whole interview was pretty disastrous for everybody, but it is what it is. So in the meantime, let's keep going.